Inside the mind of rich people isn't about secret stocks, overnight wins, or luck. It's about why smart, hardworking people still wake up, check their bank app, and feel that drop in the stomach, even though they're doing everything right. Bills are paid, but peace never shows up. You work more, stress more, and somehow money is always one step ahead of you, controlling your choices instead of serving you. Here's the uncomfortable truth most finance advice avoids. If you don't change how you think about money now, this cycle does not fix itself later. More income won't save you. Better timing won't save you. A new opportunity won't save you. That pressure follows you home. It affects your sleep, your relationships, your confidence, until one day you start believing this is just normal life. Is it? And that's the real trap. Because real financial freedom doesn't start in the bank account, it starts in the decisions you make before money even shows up. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why high earners still live in anxiety. Broken money habits always override more money. Stay with me. The first mental shift is the one almost everyone gets wrong, and once you see it, you'll never look at money the same way again. Rich-minded people don't wait for payday to see what happens. They plan first, then get paid. Every dollar already has a job before it even hits the account, which is one of the most underrated finance tips in personal finance. This habit alone kills impulse spending and builds real financial education through intention. It's not about restriction, it's about control, and control changes everything. Think about it like this: when money arrives without a plan, emotions take over. Amazon tabs open, food delivery notifications popping, and boom, cash disappears. People with a strong money mindset flip that script by pre-assigning categories like rent, investing, learning, and saving. That's financial psychology in action, not willpower. It's the same reason athletes prep before game day instead of winging it. A clean example shows up in Moneyball. Billy Beane didn't wait to see which players felt right. He decided the strategy first, then allocated resources based on data. Rich thinkers do the same with money habits. They use tools like zero-based budgeting apps, auto-transfers, and even simple Google Sheets. A basic setup like 50% needs, 30% growth, 20% future already puts them ahead of 80% of people. This approach also answers the question of how to make money feel calmer, not stressful. When someone assigns $200 monthly to ETFs like VTI or SCHD, $100 to skill learning like finance books or courses, and caps fund spending on purpose, anxiety drops fast. Studies show people who pre-commit spending decisions save up to 25% more annually. That's not luck, that's structure. And here's the quiet power move: once money has direction, confidence follows. Decisions get sharper, pressure loses its grip, and momentum builds. But planning money is only the surface level. What really separates people shows up when income feels tied to identity. And that shift is where the next step hits different. Rich-minded people don't let their bank balance define who they are. Low income isn't a personal failure to them, it's just data. That distinction alone reshapes financial psychology and protects confidence during tough seasons. When identity stays stable, decisions get smarter, not emotional, which is critical for long-term personal finance growth. A lot of people spiral because they confuse "I earn less right now" with "I am less." That mindset leads to panic spending, risky shortcuts, or freezing completely. People with strong money habits zoom out and say, "This is temporary, and I'm building skills." That's real financial education at work, separating the scoreboard from self-worth. You can see this clearly in The Pursuit of Happiness. Chris Gardner was broke, sleeping in shelters, but he never internalized poverty as identity. He treated income like a phase, not a label. That mental separation gave him clarity to learn sales, manage rejection, and stay disciplined. That same mindset applies whether someone earns $2,000 or $20,000 a month. Practically, this looks like focusing on controllables instead of outcomes. Tracking skill hours, networking attempts, resumes sent, or business experiments replaces shame with progress. Someone learning how to make money online might track daily learning blocks or outreach numbers, not just revenue. That shift alone increases consistency by up to 40%, according to behavioral studies. Once income stops defining identity, pressure loses its edge. confidence stays intact, patience increases, and better questions start to surface naturally. And those questions, asked daily, are what quietly decide who moves forward and who stays stuck. That's where the next step really begins. Rich-minded people don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "Does this move me forward?" That single shift rewires financial psychology and upgrades money habits fast. Questions shape focus, and focus shapes outcomes. This is one of those finance tips that sounds simple, but quietly changes how personal finance decisions stack up over time. Most people ask reactive questions driven by fear or comfort. Rich thinkers ask proactive ones tied to growth and direction. Instead of "Is this cheap?" they ask, "What's the return here? Skills, time, or leverage?" That's how to make money decisions clearer without overthinking. Better questions reduce regret because they force alignment with long-term goals. A clean pop culture example shows up in Limitless. Once the main character upgrades how he thinks, the questions he asks completely change, about time, learning, and leverage. Real life works the same way, minus the pill. Asking what habit would make next month easier leads to actions like automating savings or setting weekly spending reviews. Practically, this can look like replacing 5 daily questions. Does this purchase increase freedom? Will this help me earn more later? Is this aligned with my money mindset? What's the opportunity cost? Would future me thank me? People who journal just 3 of these nightly improve saving consistency by nearly 30% in 6 months. That's financial education meeting behavior science. Once questions evolve, behavior follows naturally. Decisions feel lighter, patterns become obvious, and growth feels intentional instead of forced. But even the best questions fall flat without protected attention. That's where focus stops being optional and starts acting like an asset. Rich-minded people treat focus the same way others treat money, as something valuable that leaks if it's not protected. Attention is the invisible currency behind every strong money mindset. Without focus, finance tips don't turn into habits, and financial education stays theoretical. With focus, even small actions compound fast. Most people lose money before they ever spend it, through distraction. Endless scrolling, constant notifications, and multitasking kill momentum. Rich thinkers limit inputs aggressively so outputs improve naturally. That's financial psychology at work. Fewer distractions equal better decisions, calmer emotions, and stronger personal finance results. You can see this clearly in Suits. Harvey Specter isn't smarter than everyone else, he's just fully present. When it's time to think, negotiate, or decide, nothing else gets airtime. Translating that to real life means time-blocking money tasks, turning off alerts during learning sessions, and batching financial decisions once a week instead of reacting daily. Practically, this looks like setting a 30-minute money focus window 3 times a week. 1 session for tracking spending, 1 for learning how to make money, and 1 for reviewing goals. People who do this simple system report 2x follow-through on saving and investing habits. Focus doesn't require more hours, just cleaner ones. Once focus becomes protected, progress speeds up quietly. Patterns emerge faster, mistakes shrink, and confidence grows without noise. But focus alone isn't enough unless it's paired with understanding cause and effect. That shift removes luck from the equation entirely, and that's the next level. Rich-minded people don't blame luck, the economy, or timing. They trace every result back to habits and choices, which is a cornerstone of financial psychology. This mindset builds real control over personal finance outcomes. When cause and effect becomes clear, progress stops feeling random and starts feeling repeatable. Most people say, "I need a break," while rich thinkers say, "What habit created this result?" That question alone upgrades money habits fast. Income, debt, and savings aren't mysteries, they're delayed outcomes. Understanding this is one of the most underrated finance tips because it shifts power back to the individual. A strong example shows up in Breaking Bad, not the illegal actions, but the psychological arc. Walter White's results always came from decisions, not chance. In real life, when someone saves $500 a month consistently, invests in broad market ETFs, or learns high-income skills, outcomes follow predictably. There's no magic, just math and behavior. Practically, this means mapping actions to results weekly. Spending less than income leads to freedom. Learning sales, tech, or finance increases earning power. People who track habit to result loops see up to 3x improvement in financial consistency over a year. That's financial education turning into lived experience. Once cause and effect clicks, responsibility feels empowering, not heavy. Control replaces anxiety, and patience replaces panic. But to keep this system honest, progress has to be measured without emotion. That's where the next shift makes everything steadier. Rich-minded people don't judge progress based on how they feel, they measure it. Emotions fluctuate, but numbers don't lie, and that's a core principle of financial psychology. Weekly check-ins turn personal finance into a system instead of a guessing game. This habit alone stabilizes money habits even during stressful weeks. Most people ride emotional waves. One good month feels like success, one bad week feels like failure. Rich thinkers zoom out and track simple metrics: spending, saving, investing, and learning hours. That's real financial education in action. When progress is visible, motivation stays grounded instead of dramatic. A great example shows up in Money Heist. The professor never reacts emotionally to setbacks. He tracks variables, adjusts, and sticks to the plan. In real life, this looks like a 10-minute weekly review using an app like Mint or a basic spreadsheet. Just numbers, no judgment, no panic. Practically, someone might track 3 numbers: weekly spend cap, net worth change, and skill hours logged. Studies show people who do weekly financial reviews save up to 20% more annually than those who check when they feel like it. That's how to make money decisions calmer and smarter over time. Once progress is measured consistently, emotions lose control. Confidence becomes data-backed, not mood-based. But there's an even deeper layer: aligning thoughts, discipline, and wisdom itself. That alignment changes how money decisions feel at the core, and that's where the final shift begins. Rich-minded people don't just manage money, they align their thinking with wisdom. They understand that discipline beats motivation, and that clarity beats hustle. Financial psychology shows that beliefs shape behavior long before numbers do. When thoughts, habits, and values line up, personal finance stops feeling like a fight. There's a reason Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance." That's not religious fluff, it's behavioral truth. Diligence means planning, consistency, and patience, core money habits that compound quietly. Rich thinkers anchor decisions in principles, not impulses, and that stabilizes choices under pressure. You see this principle play out in The Shawshank Redemption. Andy never panics, never rushes, never abandons discipline, even when progress looks invisible. In real life, aligning thoughts with wisdom means long-term investing instead of chasing hype, steady saving instead of emotional spending, and learning before earning. That's financial education with depth. Practically, this can mean starting the day with intentional input, 10 minutes reading books like Think and Grow Rich or The Psychology of Money, reviewing goals, or praying on direction before action. People who ground decisions in principle show higher follow-through and lower financial stress over time. That's how to make money decisions sustainable, not exhausting. When thoughts align with wisdom, money becomes a tool, not a master. Peace replaces pressure, and direction replaces confusion. And once this foundation is set, the entire picture comes together, how all these shifts connect into a single operating system for wealth. That's where everything starts to click. Remember how overwhelming it felt when money seemed to control every decision? That quiet stress, the second guessing, the feeling that no matter how hard you try, something is always off. Now you can see it clearly. It was never just about income, it was about habits, focus, questions, and mindset. You've already started breaking that cycle by understanding how rich-minded people think, plan, and act differently, step by step. Now the real question is simple, but powerful. Which habit are you going to apply first? Is it planning your money before it arrives, tracking progress weekly, or protecting your focus like an asset? Drop a comment and say it out loud. Commitment creates momentum. And if you want to keep learning finance tips that actually change how you think and act, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss strategies that can transform your relationship with money. Here's the truth most people never hear: knowing isn't enough, implementation is where lives change. That's why, if you're serious about building strong money habits, mastering financial psychology, and creating real stability, I put together something deeper. Holistic Health. Nourish your mind, balance your finances, transform your life shows you exactly how to align your mindset with practical systems, how to eliminate debt step by step, create passive income streams, manage stress under financial pressure, and build clarity around personal finance decisions that actually stick. If you're ready to stop repeating the same patterns and start building a life where money supports you instead of stressing you out, click the link in the pinned comment now. Check out the material in the pinned comment and start transforming your finances today. It's your time.